Hi, this is Ian Fox, author of Small Wants, Little Needs, the spiritual and practical solution to financial freedom. I want to begin first of all with a Zen saying. The perfect man or woman employs their mind as a mirror. It grasps nothing, it refuses nothing, it receives, but it does not keep. So here's the thing, the more you own, the more of what you own owns you. You have to pay for it, you have to think about it, you have to take care of it, and in some respects you have to clean it depending on what it is. Now I'm not saying that you should own nothing. What I am saying is that you have to own the minimal amount of stuff. You have to free yourself from all the crud and all the crap of life. You have to stand back and observe yourself before you make decisions about what you're going to purchase and what you're actually going to do. And that will free your mind, free your body and free your spirit. You know, when you're thinking about making a purchase, when you're thinking about buying something, you know, you're drawn into an emotional response. You know, you have this idea in your head that it's going to somehow elevate who you are as a person. It's going to increase your status, or it's going to increase what other people perceive and think of you. When all's said and done, they don't really care. You think they care, but they don't really care. Only you care. The problem, of course, is that when you get drawn into that trap, there's a big price to pay. It's the ownership of owning. You have to raise your consciousness around money. You know, see it for what it really is. Don't see it for more than it is. Don't see money as the be-all and end-all of your life. You know, you can't have complete identification with materials and with money if you want to be happy. And you can only get over that by raising your consciousness around money and value. So see money as energy. See it as a means to buy experience, because that's all it can ever be. You know, if you get money, you're only going to ever buy experience with it. What else is there other than experience? You know, if it's sitting in a bank somewhere, that gives you a sense of security, whatever security is. But over and above that, and of course if it's sitting in a bank somewhere and it's giving you security, then that's the experience that you're buying, isn't it? You're buying the experience of security. So it can only ever buy experience. And I don't mean the experience of going out and buying a fancy car or a big house, or, you know, decorating your ego with objects and things like this. I don't mean that, because that won't make you happy. You know, as I've already said, the things that you buy that are going to increase your level of self and that are going to increase your identity, they're not. They're just going to make your life more complicated, more congested. So what you need to do is to raise your consciousness. You know, at the end of the day, money, as I've already said, can only ever buy experience. In and of itself, money has no value other than the value that you or someone else gives it. So to change your attitude of money, you need to change your consciousness. See it for what it really is. You know, not what it can do for you, not what it can bring you, but see it as a gateway, as a portal for bringing more of the right kind of experiences into your life. Beyond objects, beyond materialistic things. Living in a big house, driving about in a big fancy car doesn't make you any better than the person who lives on the street. It's all to do with your level of consciousness. You know, I've known a lot of really mega wealthy people in my life, and most of them have been very unhappy and very insecure. So having more money, it doesn't make you a better person. All it does is elevate where you are now. You'll still have problems, you'll still have challenges. There'll be different kind of challenges, and I know people say, well, you know, if I have the money, I don't care about the challenges. Well, that's not strictly true. You'll have different kinds of challenges that having more money will bring you. And, you know, I'm sure you've heard the saying, money won't buy you happiness. You know, forget about being rich. think more about being comfortable. And the secret to wealth is growing and raising your consciousness. As a society, we're taught that we need to be chasing things, we need to be going after things, we need to be consuming, we need to be gathering. And it's an illusion. It's a giant illusion which is actually perpetrated and spread by the media, by our culture, by the corporations, by the big advertising agencies. You know, there's always somebody wanting to try to take your money from you in some way, to get you to buy something, to get you to invest in something, to get you to part with something. And that's the biggest illusion of all. You know, we have this aspirational list that is programmed into our consciousness. So we have to go out, and we have to achieve, and we have to collect, and we have to consume. And meanwhile, in the background of our lives, when all this is going on, we become deeply unhappy. You know, with all the people that we've trodden on to get wherever it is that we want to think we're going to get to. You know, to the untrained mind, the ego will never be satisfied. It will always be giving you the next list to achieve, the next objective to conquer. It's only when you raise your consciousness that you'll ever be able to let go of the entrapments of our society, which says that we've got to go out there and we've got to keep chasing, we've got to keep collecting and consuming. It's all a big illusion. And that's what's wrong with the majority of our society today, is that they're all programmed to think that they have to go out and keep pushing, shoving and forcing their ideas and their energy on people, and then they wonder why things don't work out. They wonder why at the end of it all, you know, we have a society that is in many respects degenerating. You think of the levels of depression, you think of the levels of disease and illness going on in our community, in our culture. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. And the majority of it can be down to a lack of control over the ego, and people feeling as though they're under so much pressure that they're just ready to snap. But it can change, and it will change. As I'm recording this, the pop legend Whitney Houston has recently died. Now, although she was a brilliant singer and a brilliant entertainer, and you know, really through years has helped people and touched people at the deepest level with her music, you can't really say that she was successful in terms of a human being, because she's no longer here. Now, I'm not saying the only way you can establish whether you're important or not is whether you're alive or whether you're dead, because that's not the case either. But what killed her? Was it her ego? Was it her success? You know, irrespective of the reasons, at some level it was a combination of being hugely successful, not being able to quite handle that success, and of course being out of control egoically and consciously. Now, I'm not having a go at her. I'm not, you know, I've got no comment in terms of how she lived her life and how her life ended. The point I'm making is this: on one level, on the level of ego, on the level of identification with form and things, yes, she was hugely successful. But on the level of whether she's alive, whether she's not alive, then clearly she's not successful, because she's not here any longer. And I hope you can understand that and connect with the difference between, you know, and in some ways, of course, if she hadn't have been such a big star as she was, maybe she'd be alive today. That's the thing to think about. So being successful, consuming, collecting, conquering, dominating, competing, doesn't always give you everything that you want for. I mean, we've all seen this, haven't we? We've all seen these superstars, these show business stars who just implode. You know, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, you know, Michael Jackson. You know, we've seen this. What's the message? The message here is you don't have to be successful to be free. So the only way to be free is by raising your consciousness, which is what I've already said. That's the only way. Otherwise you'll remain trapped. You know, you'll be running along with the current of society, which follows the latest fashion, the latest gadget, the latest toy. You know, you'll be pulled along with everybody else, you know, with the consciousness of the masses. But you have to decide for yourself what you're going to do, how you're going to think, and how you're going to live. And you can only do that by raising your consciousness. You also need to earn enough money to cover your outgoings. You see, it's alright learning how to raise your consciousness, but at the same time you need to also learn how to improve your ability to earn money. Now, I don't mean money so you can buy more shit. I mean money to free your life, to free yourself. I mean, I don't know what you're doing now, I don't know what you're doing to earn money now, but if you're happy and you're enjoying it, great, then it's a bonus. But most people that I've come into contact with don't like where they are, and they don't like what they're doing, and they're looking for change. And if you want to be free, you have to, as I say, raise your consciousness, and you also have to increase your ability to earn money, so you're not having to go out there day in, day out through drudgery, working for a boss that you can't stand. You're not having to push yourself and force yourself upon people just to earn enough money to pay your way. It's about earning the right kind of money as well. It's what I refer to as what's commonly known as passive income, which is income that you create a system which brings you an income, and it's ongoing, it's recurring. So you're not having to go out and trade your time for money all the time, which is the worst way to earn money there is, unless of course it's bringing you other things, such as it's fulfilling you on a really deeper level. But beyond that, you need to look for ways to earn enough money to pay your outgoings, but you don't want to be earning money to feed your ego. That's the other negative side of things here. You know, quite often, when people want to earn more money, they do end up earning more money, and then, you know, it pays their outgoings. You know, as you often hear from people who've become successful, their rags to riches stories and things like this, is that they came from poverty, they came from debt, and then they finally made the switch, and then they got ridiculously wealthy, and they've got 15 Rolls Royces and 3 mansions, and they've got paintings from Van Gogh and everybody else, and then they start buying all this stuff with it. You know, they then want to show off, they then want to say, I made it, I proved myself, and then they want to rub it in people's faces and demonstrate the fact that they are filthy rich. Now, I'm not saying that being successful and having money is a negative. It's only a negative when you're using it to consume and conquer and prove yourself to people. That's when it becomes negative. When you've got something to prove. When you're saying, I was this, now I'm this, and I want to show everybody and tell everybody about it. That's when it becomes negative. When you're using your success, you're using your wealth to feed your ego. And you must also realise is that while you're busy consuming and buying more stuff, you know, the other side of that is that everything that we consume, you know, there's a trail, it leaves a trail, and it leaves a trail of destruction, and other people potentially are having to suffer because of the things that we're purchasing with all our so-called wealth. So the point I'm making is simply this: raise your consciousness to free yourself from being trapped and being pulled along with the negative energy of the masses, which says that you've got to compete, you've got to consume, you've got to collect, and instead be free. Take control of your ego by raising your consciousness. Don't be like everybody else. Be different. Stand on your own 2 feet rather than having to rely on other people. And then earn enough money to make sure that you never have to work again. And what work you do is bringing you a tremendous amount of personal satisfaction. You know, you're not earning money to buy more stuff, to collect more things, to prove how great you are. You're using it because you want to free up your time, you want to free up your mind, you want to free up your thoughts, you want to free up your life. You're not using it to feed your ego. That's the only way to be free. I'm going to finish off our video session here with a great story from Buddhism. And to make sure I remember this, I'm going to read it. 2 men who served their sentences in hell were summoned by Yama, the Lord of Death. You have completed your sentence in hell. You will now be reborn on earth. If you do good in this birth, you may not have to worry about coming back here again, said Yama. The men nodded in relief. I'm giving you a choice. You can be reborn as a person receiving money from other people through your lifetime, or as a person giving money to others all your lifetime, said Yama. I choose to receive money all the time, said the first. The second chose to give money to others. Let the first be born in a beggar's family, and the second in a rich man's home, said Yama. The first man cried, What did I do that I have to be born in a poor man's home and he in a rich man's home? You wanted to get money from others all the time. Only a poor beggar can afford that. He wanted to give others to others, therefore he needs to be rich, said Yama. Thank you.